Boss Rush 580 Day 1. So we actually got a patch that for the first time is making changes to Mercenaries since they canceled the mode. So one of the biggest things that they changed is that now this slider goes all the way down to 1 from whatever rank you're at. One of the most significant things about that is that level 110 is the minimum level to get the full 150 first win bonus for each day of the week. So now you can start setting this to 110 and clearing all the days at 110 to get your 150 per day, and then set it up to the max to do whatever the easiest farm is, or to raise your cap for the following week. And then on all the rest of your runs, you can also now set this somewhere in the middle. If, like, say you can't farm efficiently at the max, you could drop it down like 100 or 2 and farm at like 400. If that gives you more renown per time for like really quick runs. So we got some great options because of that change. The other very significant thing that they did was they fixed the equipment being stuck at rank 4 bug. So now this Jadefire Spear equipment, for example, works at the stated value instead of being stuck at rank 4. Chi-Ji's heal power scaling equipment was also fixed. The freeze giving you frost spell damage on Varden equipment was fixed. And Blink Fox's Arcane Fang was fixed, and a few others probably were bugged as well. And all of those should work now. So for day 1, I've got 2 comps here. I do not recommend Celestials today, unless you have very strong Celestials. So you're going to need probably close to rank 50 Celestial Protection to even have a chance, and you're going to need to hit 2 Celestial Protection off the first fight. Because Smolderwing has 2 red whelps, and because there's 2 reds, you hit attack anomalies on reds pretty often. So the run that I just tried to do Celestials with, they had like 324 attack. That's with 175 bonus attack. I would have needed at minimum rank 45 Celestial Protection for that to be survivable. And that's to survive with taking like 300 damage on my Zwin. Where I would like just barely live with a Divine Shield on the second turn and then like buffs from Yulon. So yeah, requirement's pretty high, and then on top of that you have to hit the double Celestial Protection off the first fight, so you only got a 25% chance to do that. Not an easy day for Celestials. And then after that, on the last fight, Popsicooler's AI apparently likes to spam. It can use Dairy Consequence, that attack that ramps his attack by 50 per use, starting right on turn 1, even though the trolley's still alive. Don't know why, but it breaks his AI, I guess, in Boss Rush. He can also use the ability where he nukes you for the health of the trolley, which is, I think it's like 1200 health or something. So you'd have to block it with a Divine Shield and have those shields persist. Medivh also has his attack that deals damage 3 times, equal to double your arcane damage. So there's a lot of very unfriendly things for Celestials on this run. So if you can do it, you need higher Celestial Protection than I have, so I can't even attempt it unless I got insanely lucky on my Smolderwing attack anomalies, and then you got the treasure RNG on top of that. So the comp that I actually used to beat this is an Artillery Strike one. You've also got some problems with Artillery Strike because the Acolyte of N'Zoth leaves behind the tentacles if you Artillery Strike it. And then on the final boss, there are 7 enemies, so 1 gets left on the bench, so then you need Medivh to deal with that. So, in order to deal with the tentacles, we're having to bring Nemsy here instead of an extra artillery mercenary, but she does provide us an additional win condition with her can't touch this treasure. So you could potentially make it past Smolderwing with that. I'm not sure exactly how the fight goes with this comp against that, but I think you can win it if you just hit can't touch this and miss the artillery. And then for the final boss, we keep Medivh alive with at least 1 artillery strike to clear the board off. You might need 2 if your artillery strike is lower. I'm not sure. I think it's like 220 blue to kill Echo of Medivh, so that's probably kind of your minimum there. And Smolderwing is green, so we're bringing Genn, and he's also one of the strongest mercenaries to fight with. So for the comp, I'm using Bitter Chill, the Unstable Rune. We're using Paring Blade. Do not use this caster slow. it's bad for the first fight. I'm using my Fresh Peaches, the Gilnean Strength, and Round of Drinks. And you will want to have your Can't Touch This ranked up enough for it to provide you a potential win condition on Smolderwing. Which might need to be higher than I have it. So I don't even know if it's a win condition for me. Because he's going to like crit you with fire damage on your blues. So I'm not entirely sure that that's like a guaranteed win condition. So on this comp, you're going to have to cover your Hearthfire turn with a Medivh taunt. So if you get too high of an attack on this red, you might need to reroll. Also, when this uses a Draconid Rush, it's bad on turn 1, but this guy used a taunt this turn, so it's kind of okay. So generally you want to just have 2 melee attacks coming at you. And that allows this Arcane Ward to tank the red hit, and then the second hit should also go into the counter ward. If the green is the highest attack, do not use your Check Your Weapons, because it will just spawn additional adds which activate this passive, so it's just unnecessary unnecessary activations of potential wheel spins, and you will need to counter yourself because we have to cast Hearthfire. So we're taunting our Arcane Ward so that it can taunt or tank for us on this first turn. And it just needs to... You just need enough damage to not get through. Oh, so that's 6 speed. So we're going to take a hit here. That should be fine, though. I forgot that... Yeah, that goes that order. So if you get this outcome, usually Yogg will use his summon a tentacle monster thing instead. But he's wanting to use his Draconid Rush this run. This should be fine, though. Now what you're hoping for is that he uses Draconid Rush on turn 3, or as soon as possible after turn 3. So hopefully he casts it a third time here. Because you want to get him to die to the All Realities before you get Wheel Spin. So we got unlucky. He's not casting it this turn. And here you can either do damage. So our goal is to kill the red guy first. So you could either do damage here like this. Or you can just Mage Guard something to help it survive. I'm going to do the Mage Guard option. Because our Khadgar did get hit. And what you're trying to protect against is just whatever the wheel spin does. So, you could also health buff your Medivh, because we actually want Khadgar and Malchezaar to die by the end of this, but we cannot let our Medivh die. So whatever ends up happening as a result of the wheel spins... Okay, so actually this turn I do not have to AoE with Khadgar, because there's no melee attacks coming in from these guys. It's just the ad swinging. I'm going to get another summon out because it helps mitigate the RNG from wheel spins, and then we're going to Hearthfire buff. You could also nuke with the Arcane Nuke and just hit this red guy, but I want health in case of bad things happening on wheel spins. Health and a full board. Okay, he's casting Draconid Rush. Now, when he casts Draconid Rush, if this guy casts Primal Power at the same time, that can intercept your All Realities, but that didn't happen here, which is good for us. Do need to root. And we don't have anything slow enough to kill him after he gets All Reality'd. So I am just going to... Let's see. I'm going to shoot here. We are going to get a wheel spin because he delayed this Draconid Rush too much after we had All Realities available. Now here, I think I'm going to taunt this bird. And that's because some of the wheel spin outcomes cause melee attacks to happen from things that aren't already on the board, I think. So by putting a taunt on this, it kind of protects against some of that RNG. It's also additional health on my board. You could taunt your Medivh, but then things that swing would hit him by default. Or you could just do damage. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with Medivh in this circumstance, but the ideal outcome is that you just get an all realities on turn 3 and you never have to endure a wheel spin. Okay, so do not kill my Medivh, please. Okay, and that's another reason to position like this. That forced attack thing, this setup gives you the highest odds of not getting your Medivh killed by something like that. Okay, so we should be home free now. So yeah, no, we will not get another wheel spin. I'm going to go ahead and Blizzard here. Some birds out. And we're done with this guy, but I'm going to go ahead and do a check your weapons first. So now I need to kill off my Khadgar and my Malchezaar. We want Medivh and the bench guys to survive. And thankfully, our birds are very good. Let's see, how much does this do? It's only like 250 or something. Our birds are very good at killing things that we don't want alive anymore. I'm going to soften up my Khadgar here. I don't really want to kill him yet because there's quite a bit of health on this, but Medivh's taunts and Nemsy can shut down the melee swings here, so I'm not too concerned about incoming damage. Also Genn's taunts, so I'm going to put Genn out here. I'm going to root now and get some more birds out. I'm going to actually make a Genn taunt. Oh, yeah, I'm ruining my bird summon. Whatever, it's fine. I don't really need another bird anyway. But I could have gotten some more damage there. I do like having the taunt in play. This guy does have a lot of hit points. And I think that kills off Khadgar. I'll do it like this, just to make sure. And there's no reason to swing with that. I was too lazy to do the exact math on whether Khadgar died. It gets complicated because you like Hearthfire buff yourself and then nuke yourself and... Okay. It doesn't really matter who we put in play here. I guess he doesn't need to shoot. These are all going to die anyway. It doesn't really matter what we do now. Okay, so now we're hoping for artillery strike. Maybe can't touch this. But mostly artillery strike is what we want here. Out of the treasures for Medivh, Alaneth is the good one. Alright, we got an artillery. And there's the good one there. So at the end, you don't really get to use bird buddies. So Alaneth is the best one to take because it just helps you kill the final ad bit faster. But you don't need it. So usually if you had to use Can't Touch This, you would probably taunt Nemsy on turn 1, and then use the Mage Guard to give another person taunt. But we're just hitting the good treasures. We hit literally all the best treasures. That's nice. I think the only thing we didn't have was the option of a Spirit Blade on Edwin. I actually could have... It was probably better, since I already had an artillery strike, to take the cheat death on Edwin. But it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to use him anyways here. I'm just going to go with Medivh, Nemsy again. They beat this fight reliably without treasures. And at this point, it's fine if we lose Nemsy. She's just here to ensure that you have the tools to beat this fight if they like both swing at you at 4 speed here. And they're not even doing that. So we're good here. I am going to... So we do have can't touch this. I don't need to kill Nemsy off, so I'm not gonna like intentionally kill her here. And this will... Let's see. I guess I'll keep that alive. And you can even swing with this because you have can't touch this. Although, if I can't touch this is only 325, so that doesn't protect that. I'm gonna hold it back. You can let your Boggy die. Really, the only thing that matters is that your Medivh and your Artillery Strike lives. Okay, so I'm just gonna give that taunt. That looks good to me. Usually you want to focus the right hand one, because if you do let the counter rune counter something, it stops this left one typically. Also keep in mind that Creeping Madness there will activate on countering yourself. So if you're trying to keep this alive, you don't need it alive, but that's something to just kind of keep in mind. These guys got a lot of health and attack anomaly. Usually are not that big. Just gonna buff here and counter myself. It's fine that this is gonna take damage. Because it's got... We're fine if we lost it, but it's got the can't touch this anyway. And I'm avoiding taunting the important guys because their attack is actually higher than my anomaly. Although we do... That just happened is something I have to watch out for now, because now that these tentacles have died, that can repeat a lot of times. So you could potentially have that repeat. It would hit 7 times if you only have 1 tentacle left alive at the end. So kind of keep that in mind. You can also do like temporary buff here. Temporary taunt buff. Instead of the permanent taunt buff. But you do have to play around that a little bit. I'm gonna not rely on that though. So I don't know if I want to counter yet. These are 7 speed, so this Boggy Blast does act before them. Shoot that there. And we'll just let that Whirlwind be countered. I could have like taunted my Medivh and let that Whirlwind hit me and it would heal him from the can't touch this. But I'm kind of trying to do this fight without relying on can't touch this, since I know not everyone will have it. Okay, and that should end the fight, but we'll go ahead and queue up our attacks as well. And if you hadn't hit the treasures you needed yet, you could get your Nemsy killed off on purpose there. Because she's not needed anymore. These don't matter. You could even get rid of your can't touch this. I'm just going to not taunt my guys though, as we are going to kill off our mercenaries that are not Medivh to make space for birds. I don't think positioning matters. You get to reposition after you place them anyway, since there's a guy on the bench. Okay, so the only thing you don't act on is the 7 speed. So you just pass if you 7 speed. This you can let through. So we're gonna do that, and I'm going to start killing off my Nemsy. And we want to kill off our Boggy as well. So I'm shooting with Nemsy first so that we don't get a new Boggy. Okay, we just pass on the 7. He has like 4 abilities, and it's entirely random. You don't usually get this many 7 speeds. Okay, so there's a bird. And that should kill Nemsy. We do it this way. Okay, and just make sure he's getting countered. You can look at the speech bubble here. If it says first, and your counter rune is not acting, then you should be good. Now the reason I'm killing off Nemsy now is I want to put this first bird that I summoned to the left of my Medivh, so that once I get the board like I want it, that's going to be the most scaled one. Oh wait, this one's scaled more. Okay, well, I messed it up. Why did it do that? Oh, it's because this bird shot after this one was summoned, so that bird ramped this bird, and this one hadn't been scaled at all yet. So I needed to put this bird on the left. Alright, whatever. It just makes targeting easier. So we're acting at 6 speed. I want to kill off both of these guys. Oh wait. I want to shoot Genn. Because when he casts something fast, or he casts the double cast thing, I could just swing with my... Yeah, so we can just swing with him this turn. You don't want to let that Starfire Blessing cast either. I'm going to not shoot with him because... will heal himself. Okay, this should be good. Alright, so now we're just spamming with birds. And just make sure you go slower than him. The reason I like the bird on the left of Medivh is it's supposed to be the one that scaled the most. And that way you can just act left to right without having to retarget. But I messed it up because I put the one that was scaled the least on the left out of those birds. Okay, so he's at 5 speed, so we're just doing all of our 6 speed stuff. And since I have Aluneth, I can try to summon birds if it's one of these 6 speed turns, and it will ramp my arcane damage. 6 speed turn, so the Aluneth proc, and then this order doesn't matter. So let's see, I think the far right one is the most ramped. So this is the one we want to crit with. Alright, and now that this has sped itself up, you don't have to counter your ward anymore. So now we can crit with that one. You also can counter with your ward this turn if you want to. Doesn't really matter. But it doesn't take too long, because you do quite a lot of damage. So this is another turn we get to crit. 7 speed, that's a pass. Okay, back to the 2 speed. When you're checking their abilities, just make sure that it's already updated for the turn. Because it'll still show the previous turn's ability for a few seconds at the start of the turn. Sometimes. It depends on what's going on at the start of the turn. So this is a 6-speed turn, so I'm just going to do this. So it should be one more turn of nukes. Alright, and that should take care of him. So not a good farm day, but beatable. Hopefully we get something a little bit more farmable in the next few days. 36 turns, so not one of the worst runs that we've had, but not one of the best either. If anyone wants to see the treasures that I hit this run. Got all the good ones for artillery strike stuff. Good luck.